Developing Fluent Readers, Non-Technology versus Technology by Jennifer Letarte Jennings. The third grade special education resource room students are learning about fluency. They will study fluency and punctuation together. From what they learn about punctuation and from their practice, they will see improvement in their own reading fluency. There will be two groups in this study. One group will be the control group, or the traditional group. They will not be using technology outside of a timer. The second group is the variable group, or the technology enhanced group. They will have access to various types of technology. Aside from a similar introduction, pre- and post-assessment, and graphing in their fluency folders, the two groups will experience learning about punctuation's impact on fluency in different ways. Instructional strategies used. The emphasis throughout the course of these fluency lessons will be on cooperative learning activities and group discussions, meaningful homework and opportunities to practice, and a strong effort to set objectives and provide appropriate feedback. The instructional strategies are taken from the book Using Technology with Classroom Instruction That Works by Pittler, Hubble, Kuhn, and Milanowski. Within this lesson, there are two proposed paths towards fluency, the traditional or non-technology path and the technology-enhanced path. I use technology in my classroom daily, whether it is computers, CD players, or the interactive whiteboard. These experiences have led me to make the following predictions. For the traditional group, students will learn about punctuation's effect on fluency, and their reading will become more fluent. Students could be more apt to be bored and off task when working together, and activities will take more time to finish. For the technology group, the students will learn about punctuation's effect on fluency. Their reading will become more fluent. The students will be more apt to stay on task when working together while on the interactive whiteboard and/or computers. Students will be able to experience and hear fluent readings more often because of the speed of technology, and students will get more practice working on certain skills because of the accessibility of reinforcement activities through websites. Introduction to the lesson. Step 1. Both traditional and technology-enhanced lessons would start with the same basic whole group discussion. The discussion will be based around what it means to be fluent and what it takes to become fluent. Emphasis will also be on how periods, question marks, exclamation points, and commas affect fluency. Step 2. There will be an explanation of the cold reads, or the pre-assessment, and the hot reads, or post-assessment. All students in both groups will complete cold reads with the teacher. Step 3. After the cold reads, each group will be participating in different activities based on what group they are in. The groups will not do another identical activity until they do their individual hot reads. The cold read, or the reading fluency pre-assessment. The cold read is the first time the student attempts to read a passage given to them by the teacher at their reading level. The teacher will time the student's reading for 1 minute. The number of word calling errors made during the minute are taken away from the total number of words read correctly. The student will graph the number of words per minute he or she has read on his or her fluency graph. An appropriate goal is then set by the student and the teacher for the hot read. This picture shows a graph where the student has read 51 words per minute, 60 words per minute being the goal. The first path we are going to look at is the traditional path. The students in this group will not be using technology in their practice, homework, or in their cooperative learning groups. Here are some of the activities the traditional group will be using for practice to build their fluency. Classroom small group discussions, punctuation worksheets, independently reading their fluency story or reading their fluency story with a partner, rewriting their fluency story, or read the fluency story to a parent volunteer in the classroom, graphing the words per minute in their fluency folder, and reading using the fluency phones or the tubaloos. 6 main tools for performing fluency assessments are the story. Here it's pictured, we are the worms. Also the fluency folder to keep track of their stories and graphs in. A timer to time the minute they have to read. The fluency phones for practicing their story so they're able to hear themselves read. The blue crayon to graph the words per minute and their cold read. And a red crayon to graph their words per minute for their hot read. These fluency tools alone have shown that students can have remarkable growth in their fluency. This is an example of a fluency story that the students will read and practice with the fluency phones, with a partner, or practice writing. Here is an example of a worksheet or practice activity where the students will be inserting the correct punctuation and practice reading with inflection based upon the punctuation. Now we will take a look at our other path towards fluency, where the students will be using technology in their homework and practice in cooperative learning groups. Here are some of the practice and reinforcement activities the technology group will be using to build their fluency. Students will be listening to fluency stories on CD, using the interactive whiteboard to listen and interact with their fluency story, recording themselves reading the story on a computer or tape player and being able to listen to it, using Compass Learning, fluency and punctuation practice to gain experience, using websites designed towards promoting fluency, such as Starfall, using websites designed towards understanding proper use of punctuation, like the one listed here from BBC. Note, activities such as the cold and hot reads will be done with this group the same way it was done with the traditional group. A few more advanced tools that can be used to improve fluency are a CD player and audio splitters to help make listening to the fluency stories available for more students more often, a digital timer for the students to time themselves for 1 minute while they're reading, microphones for the students to read into, and an interactive whiteboard. The use of some Compass Learning activities help to show students the difference between fluent and non-fluent reading. In the activity below, the student is asked to see both fluent and non-fluent readings of the passage. By clicking on the yellow button, the story is read too slowly, while clicking on the green button reads the story fluently for the student. The video below shows the story being read fluently, and the sentences that are being read are highlighted in yellow. This type of technology, when used appropriately, is a useful tool in helping students to become more fluent readers. In the video below, you will see how the Easy Teach text reader highlights the word in red as it reads it. One can also click on a specific word and have it read aloud. This program also allots the opportunity for a teacher to have the passage read fluently, too quickly, or too slowly based upon what the teacher would like to emphasize. The hot read, or the reading fluency post-assessment. The hot read is completed after the student has practiced reading the passage multiple times through using the multiple non-technological or technological methods. The student reads the passage aloud and is timed by the teacher for 1 minute. The number of word calling errors made during the minute is taken away from the total number of words read. The student then graphs his or her score in red on their fluency graph next to the cold read score, which is in blue. Here is a graph showing the cold read score of 51. The goal was then set as 60, and the hot read score was 69, meaning the student has met and surpassed their goal. If a student has met their goal set by themselves and the teacher, their next story will be at a higher level. If the goal has not yet been met, the student will continue with a new story at the same level. Looking at both approaches, I'm excited to try both lessons in my classroom to see if one group makes higher or quicker progress. I feel that both approaches have valuable practices. Through the process of creating these lesson plans and activities, as well as thinking of my third grade special education students, I have thoughts about a number of things. Both methods can be effective, but using technology and non-technology methods can engage more learners and allow for greater gains by students. The use of varying techniques keeps students from getting bored or having a feeling of redundancy in what they do. There is value in having students hear both fluent and non-fluent readers. It is also important for students to hear their own reading, whether it be through fluency phones or recording their readings and playing them back. There are many stages leading up to being a fluent reader. As such, the activities described in this presentation would and should be done many times throughout the year to maximize results.